Family
Hey, ladies
Guy.
and gentlemen, you're watching Eclecticka. This is part 2 of Geeks versus Nerds. What is a geek? What is a nerd? And we left off talking about the WB frog.
The WB frog.
WB.
It was an episode of like Family Guy or something, and he was dead in a shoebox.
I remember that.
Yes.
Oh,
He was flipping it, but it wouldn't.
I need a T-shirt with that frog
He
on
kept
it,
on
though.
flopping over.
Yeah.
So question. Can you be a geek and turn into a nerd? And vice versa. Can you be a nerd that turns into a geek?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You can contort
Definitely.
anything you want.
Yeah, because I feel like I definitely was what you would consider an intellect at first.
Nerd?
And yeah.
See, only a nerd would say that.
But
I
some
was an
people,
intellect.
to some people, the intellect is the geek, and the fan is the nerd.
Interesting.
Where I think the intellect is the nerd,
Yeah.
and the fan is the geek, right?
Interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I was a nerd first, and then like I became a geek as I grew up watching TV, like especially X-Men, Mighty Morphin, and Power Rangers, not just the regular Power Rangers, and what else? Of course, Sailor Moon. As I got older, like Toonami was like I like cleared my schedule for Toonami, and all of the Saturday morning cartoons. So that was kind of like when I got into it. And I loved all the Steven Spielberg cartoons too, Animaniacs, Freakazoid,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Charles, did you make a transition? You were always...
I was just in my own realm.
Okay.
Seriously, man, from day one. Like Saturday mornings was the best day of the week. Cereal, starting at, like I said, about 7 o'clock, you watch all your cartoons, and then get mad. I think I stated this before, when you see this, I think what would come on, Soul Train or some bull crap like that, but
Soul Train.
Or
and
MASH.
then after school, the same thing. What was that? Silverhawks, Galaxy Rangers, Robotech, all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I was just a straight up cartoon geek, man. I loved all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they brought back Thundercats too, so that was dope. I love the new series, by the way. I kind of like the little anime look to the new Thundercats.
So,
Yeah,
you
man.
can't. I don't know. Like I said, that whole Saturday morning you'll never get that back.
Nah.
You'll never get
It's
that
not the
back.
same.
No, not even close.
No.
Not
And I
even
think that's the
close.
one thing that like brings a lot of different fan bases together. Like whether you're a Star Wars fan, whether you're an anime fan, or whatever it is, we all, like all American kids, kind of have that memory of Saturday morning
Saturday
cartoons.
morning, yeah.
Like-
Now, is Stanley on our... Oh, Ranger,
Yeah.
did you?
No.
answer?
I was like a normie. I just went through life. I do remember like Kirby and like Pokemon. And I did at the time I like appreciate the production of it and like all the behind the scenes things like I do now with anime. So I did turn from like a normie to a geek.
True.
Yeah.
True. That works.
But I had stages too, though. Like I would have my stage where I'd go through anime, Vampire Hunter D, Fist of the North Star,
Right.
all that type of stuff.
Right.
Ghost in the Shell. And then it would be like you get a little bit tired of that, then you would switch over. I've always been a Marvel fan. Then you dive into those cartoons, and then you go back, Warner Brothers. I don't know, the advertisement and Bugs Bunny and all that type of stuff. So I would just have different stages that I would go through, and I just bounce back and forth depending on what I wanted to watch.
Yep.
Do you think Stanley's taking advantage of the geek community, or do you think he's pro the geek/nerd community?
Maybe a little bit of both.
I mean, he needs to make money.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wait! Don't say it like he's made it sound like
He's
out
not
in the middle of the
hurting.
street.
Like, he's
He
not.
needs to make money.
Right. He's not bumming
Make a
you
little
for
profit.
change. Right.
But he put the work in.
Yeah,
did.
Absolutely.
But we discussed before that we had some issues with some of the comics that were very groundbreaking being pulled. Like I heard that Moon Girl and some of the Wakanda series, they were going to be discontinued. So I'm not sure what his hand is in that. And, of course, no company is perfect. Like DC is just, everybody's mad at DC right now. But I definitely think that, I have the utmost respect for Stan Lee. And I think that Stan Lee was very much a man ahead of his time. But I do think that, as a white male who's been rich for a very long time, that he may or may not have, lost the touch on a few things. And times
Right.
have changed, too. I mean, I do think he does a very good job of still honing
I'm sorry,
in.
I just had this picture. As soon as you said that, like you said, he's out of touch. Of him just wait, they can vote now? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What do you mean they're not in the back of the bus?
What are you doing up here?
I'm gonna leave that one alone. Let y'all
Like, so
Love ya.
you're moving next door? It's like, no, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. I mean, again, no connection with him. I'm just saying that, you know.
Right, no, I get it.
I just thought that would be funny. Sorry.
No, I get it.
That's what I thought.
And I have colleagues who, there's this couple, you know, they've been partners for like 30 years, this lesbian couple, and they encounter this 80-something-year-old dude at Sears, and he like could not fathom the fact that they were like buying this bed because they were buying a Tempur-Pedic together, and he couldn't fathom the fact that they were like buying a bed together to sleep in together.
they're gonna be sleeping.
And my colleague's wife just basically pulled dude to the side like, look, it's 2017. Are you gonna get on the train or not? And he got with the program, and she just kept it moving. Like, all right, good, you're with the program now. Let's go. And if he would have been like, no, she'd have been like, all right, whatever, next.
I'll sell you this bed, but first, what are you gonna do with it?
Right, exactly. Like, why are you worried about it? You need to be worried about me liking how it feels. That's it. That's all you need to worry about. Need to know. Classified, sir.
What are you gonna do?
That's classified.
What y'all gonna do in it?
Okay,
The same thing you do.
Mark Hamill, is he a geek or is he a nerd?
Wow.
I'll let
I can
y'all
call
answer that
call
one.
him up and ask him. Hey, Mark. Yeah, Charles.
Will it depend on who's
It
asking?
depends, though.
Yeah.
Because he seems like a pretty intellectual dude, too.
Right.
Smart guy.
Right.
But then, anyone that can play the Joker got to be a geek, man.
You got to be a little eclectic at the very
Yeah.
least.
He can split it. I'm gonna cut him down the middle. Because he can go either way.
Oprah Winfrey. Normie, geek, or nerd?
I would say normie.
Normie.
I would say normie.
Yeah, I can't really pin her to anything.
She has exceptional.
I don't.
I feel like so bad right now.
Like
Would say she's normal,
she definitely,
That's a good normal.
I mean, she definitely has nerd tendencies at the very least in terms of her vision. Like for you to have a network, for you to start in broadcasting and being a reporter, and then to form your own network, like you have to have some kind of vision. And she created it in her vision, like to the point where she never really, she got to a point where she didn't have to compromise, and now she does what she wants, basically.
Are you insinuating that normies can't have a vision?
No, they can have
No, not at all.
It's a different type of vision.
I don't think that, but there's definitely something that separates Oprah from the rest of us, right?
Einstein.
And a lot of luck. Einstein, definitely a nerd.
You said that real quick.
Yeah, definitely a nerd.
Definitely. Gandhi.
Definitely a nerd.
Maybe a nerd.
Gandhi was had a little bit of cognitive issues though. And you know what I'm talking about. But Einstein was very much ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Einstein was definitely a visionary.
So you say he is a nerd?
I say he's a nerd. Yeah, he was a full blown like science, social sciences. He even went so far as to say that, and that was why they tried to make him out to be crazy, because he said that racism is not a disease of people of color, but it's a disease of white people. And that's when they started to be like, oh, he's crazy, you know, he's this, he's that, yeah.
Well, it was around not too maybe 100 years before Einstein, or 60 years before Einstein. The concept of racism, or like, to get it, the way that they formulated that science backed it up around that era. Yeah. But maybe 100 years, if not 200 years before that, that's when it started. Pretty much. It's not too. I know it's not too old.
Essentially, that was what gave birth to the field of anthropology. Was this narrative that white people are superior and they're going to use science to prove it, and ultimately it backfired. It backfired because they wound up finding out that civilization and mankind originated in Africa. To the point where they created fake skulls and fake artifacts to like try to distract people and make them think anything. Like there was a theory that black people came from gorillas and white people came from chimps and Asian people came from orangutans. And it's like, what? Like, how can we all have different common,
But a theory is not a fact.
Right.
And the fact remains, how can they take and use science to prove something wrong when they didn't even invent science? Science was invented in
Right.
Africa. It came right out of Kemet. That's
Right.
where science came from. So how are they going to take and use something that they didn't create to take
Right,
and
but
prove
the
something
winner
wrong?
always writes history. And when Alexander the Great took that over, they basically were able to take the knowledge and take credit
Well,
for
they
it.
didn't take the
so
knowledge.
by their knowledge,
They stole the knowledge.
right? But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that. They're taught in school that Alexander the Great is this wonderful person. Socrates and Aristotle and all of them
But they all
are the
got their
thinkers.
information from the Africans out of Egypt. That's where they
But
got all their
they
knowledge
didn't.
from.
But don't tell them that.
Come
Yeah.
learn from
Like,
me,
it's like
y'all.
good luck for getting the massive majority of people to like
Read
to
a book, a
not
real
to
book.
do that and to acknowledge it that it's actually true.
And it's true. It's all written. If
Because-
you really want this stuff is all written down.
Got
Right.
one. Napoleon. Was Napoleon a normie, a geek, or a nerd?
Napoleon was really insecure.
He was crazy. He was a crazy person.
He had a little complex.
He also had stomach cancer.
He did. He had
Yeah,
stomach
yeah, yeah.
cancer.
I would lean
He
towards
just had a lot
nerd
of problems.
Needed some B7.
because he was like a
Yeah.
he was like a military
He's a
nerd,
need.
and he
He
had
was.
social issues,
True. But if
especially
that's
with
the
the
case,
ladies allegedly.
but if that's the case, is Hannibal of Carthage a nerd? Because he like took an army full of elephants and walked them through the Alps. He got to be some kind of eccentric to want to do that.
He's probably more geeky
You think so?
because
Elephant geek?
he just
He's
like
a-
the art of war,
he's a
fantasize over
yeah.
military stuff.
And elephants.
So that was his thing. Yeah,
Offense and war.
Elephants in war.
he would. So if he was alive today, he would be playing Gods of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God of War.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the best games.
Definitely. And I
On
think that
PlayStation.
Napoleon will probably play like Battleship or something. Or he would be like a reenactor.
He'd
He'd be
play-
like a Civil War reenactor. Like
Call of Duty or
the one who
something.
can't let it
Call
go.
of Duty, yeah.
Yeah.
He would be a
He'd be
Call
the
of
guy
Duty
that can't
player.
let it go. And he'd cuss the game out,
he
every
would
time he
too.
loses.
Oh, behind.
and-
Just
And
rage
but he'd
quit.
be cheating.
He would.
yeah. And then he'll still die of stomach cancer.
Jim Henson, was he a geek, normie, or
Geek.
a nerd?
Geek.
Geek.
Wow,
for
you
sure.
didn't even pause. You're like,
Very,
nope.
very like eclectic and
Just look
Yeah.
at the stuff he created.
Yeah.
and he wasn't necessarily like an intellect, but he was a true artist.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey,
Absolutely.
shout out to PG County. That's where and he went to University of Maryland.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he's from around my way. Went to Northwestern High School. It's a lot of.
Do they have like a huge picture of him
They
there?
actually at his alma mater they have the Jim Henson
cool.
Auditorium
Oh, wow.
at Northwestern High School. Yeah.
They're going to name an auditorium after me one of these days.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, they're gonna name the film school after you. That's what it
Ooh.
is. Yeah.
I want an airport.
All right, you gotta do a lot
You know-
for an
you know what?
airport.
You can only pick one.
I only know one black
can only
person
pick
who's
one.
got an airport, and he did
Who's that?
Brown versus Board of Education, Thurgood Marshall.
He has his own.
But
Oh, that's right.
BWI, but nobody calls it Thurgood Marshall. They always call it BWI, but yeah, it's
Oh, they're
Thurgood
hiding the
Marshall
facts.
Airport. Yeah, it's
Wow.
Thurgood Marshall.
Learn it first here, y'all.
You know what's
Thurgood.
crazy? I know this is not a political show, but Trump is probably going to get an airport.
No, he's gonna get a library
Yeah, I
though.
was about to say.
Oh,
like, a
really?
library
Every
or
president
something.
gets a library. Every
Oh.
president.
Yeah.
That's why I was like the running joke when we
Why?
were
They
like
say
in
he doesn't
college
read,
that
though.
George Bush is getting the library.
true.
Like he's not gonna read his own stuff.
They say Trump doesn't read
He's
it.
not a step foot in.
No, of course he
do you think
doesn't.
Trump is a normie, a geek, or a nerd?
Sociopath?
Social. He's definitely not a normie, but he.
Yeah, he's not a normie.
No, he's something
You can't
else.
be born into it's incredibly. You can't be born into that
Maybe,
lifestyle
like,
and be a normie.
I think I want to
You
call him like a
can't.
geek, but for like business.
Yeah,
You know what? I hate to say this. I just think he's a normie.
I think he's a.
I think he's a
I don't
normie.
think he's. I don't
I
even
do.
think he's a normie, yo. I
pretend-
think he's
he-
below normie.
I think it's just all of
I really
a
do.
act.
Like a facade.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
he's-
yeah.
I put him as
He's
a
just
Norman.
he's just normal,
he's just normal.
and to be called normal here is kind of bad.
Yeah.
He's just normal.
Nah, I'm gonna go with mediocre.
Okay,
I'll
one
take
more
mediocre for
random.
200.
Michael Jordan, normie, geek.
Nerd.
Not a
Actually,
geek,
no.
not at all.
He's-
If anything, he's more of a nerd because he's
Yeah.
an intellect and he's very
very
he's a good
intelligent.
speaker and you know what I mean. Yeah, very intelligent, but I wouldn't call him a geek at all.
No.
I think he's a normie.
Really?
I mean, yeah, nothing really kind of stands out about him, really. I
Is
mean,
that
yes, he does play basketball really well.
Right.
Besides that,
player.
Right.
What about Space Jam?
Like he's got good presentation.
oh no, you
skills.
didn't bring
What
up
about
Space
Space
Jam.
Hold
Jam?
on, first of all, I had a Space Jam room, okay? The walls were
I
lime
like
green with
Space
spray
Jam.
paint dots for
I
space.
gotta be a nerd to do
But
Space Jam.
no,
Yes.
you don't. It was that check. It was that space check.
There was a
Jam
lot
check.
of good. That movie was. I don't care what anybody says. That movie was underrated. You had all the
like the
you had
movie.
Charles
I
Barkley,
believe I can
Larry Bird.
I had that.
Right?
The soundtrack.
We used to sing that song at elementary school because we were the Falcons.
Touch the sky.
So we would sing "I Believe I Can Fly,"
The better part is like the music video for "I Believe I Can Fly" when he just in the field.
and then the remix. All I wanted was some chicken wings.
Oh
And
man.
then the
I
forgot
don't eat
what the rest
chicken,
of-
y'all.
Okay,
Leave
sorry.
the chickens alone.
Okay.
That's straight from me.
Falafel.
So now you do that. I gotta ask.
Falafel and collard greens.
There you go.
I had to
man,
make it.
I know I
for
said that's the
seven.
last one. I
mean,
couldn't
for,
help it.
Sensei.
R. Kelly, is he a nerd, a geek, or a normie?
Not a normie at all. Not a geek. Not an. I don't know what he is.
I don't know what he is.
He's just weird.
Because he's like a 16-year-old.
Like
He can write some songs.
Like he stopped being a normie
think
on
he's
how
a-
on like the trapped in the closet.
He's probably a geek for
Part.
music.
yeah,
'Cause
he
he's-
can write some effing music.
I mean, I think a lot of musicians.
Actually, no, more of a nerd. And the reason why I say that is because he's really good with. I mean, he started his career imitating Guy and our, you know that. So anyone that could take that time to just emulate, then get a deal, and then he could pretty much write almost anything because
he can write it.
he knows the math of it,
Now-
not necessarily like
the formula of making.
he's the formula. He's like
Now,
a
I'll
mad
give you-
scientist.
I'll give you 3 artists who I definitely think are nerds.
Okay.
Quincy Jones,
Yeah, he's a music nerd.
Erica Badu.
Absolutely.
Really?
I would say
Yeah.
nerd, not a geek, but a
Yeah,
nerd.
yeah. Formula.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big Sean is a geek, low key,
Mm.
and J. Cole is a nerd.
Okay.
J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are nerds
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
yeah.
Big Sean is low key, like he's made Dragon Ball Z references, he's made Family Guy references in his music. Like he's legit.
He's a jet.
Yeah, I can tell just by his raps that he's kind of like into that kind of stuff.
No
Yeah.
female artists?
Who are nerds? You definitely have like, I mean, you had your Lauryn Hill, you had your Queen Latifah. I'm trying to think of like more contemporary. Janelle Monáe,
Yes.
geek and nerd, love her. She's like really into Star Wars. She came to the premiere like fully like sci-fi.
starred out.
Yeah,
but the only reason, I hate to say that.
But she wasn't in the movie,
I think
was
the
she?
only reason why she did that is because
that
she's
was
trying to get a
yeah.
role. I don't think it's
necessarily.
pure.
Well, you think because of Hidden Figures?
No, think about it. Anyone, and this goes with the nothing against her,
Right.
but this, right now, if you act, you're going to do some sort of public display to be like, no, I'm open to sci-fi.
Right.
I'm open
Right.
because everyone's. Years
I think
ago,
hers
nobody
is-
wanted to play superheroes.
Nobody.
Now everyone is begging their agent to get them into either a sci-fi superhero TV show or a film. So that's why I can't really totally co-sign that because it's.
Well, I think hers
Again, I
is
don't
a
know
little
her, so
bit
whatever.
I follow
you're
her
right.
Right.
as
getting
a
hyped
fan
up.
of her music, and
The
I
fly
will
here.
say that everything she has put out, like every project she has put out, from the music to the movies that she chooses
Remember
to be
the
in.
music before? Like, okay, so when she did.
So like Moonlight,
Right.
Electric
Moonlight,
Lady.
Hidden Figures. Even her song Yoga is kind of like even though that's like the more mainstream, but then she's got like Tightrope and a lot of her other songs.
Brown.
Her song with Erykah Badu, Queen, is like
Queen,
really conscious
yes.
type music. And yeah, she is very much inspired by like James Brown, Prince. She did a performance where she honored Prince. They were honoring Prince as an
Yeah.
What
MTV
does that have to do with
icon.
sci-fi? Talk to me.
She's
Okay.
creative.
But yeah, I'll say that
artistic.
she's very like eclectic and artsy, and
She
I think she's a
sings,
bona fide nerd. She's definitely a bona fide nerd.
But she's,
Now,
she's
why?
aware of things that most people aren't aware of.
Exactly. Right.
Man, there's a lot of posers out there, and I'm going to tell you why.
What?
If you would go back, let's just say a few years, right?
Right.
So if you, all of us on this, in this area, in this realm right here, we can attest to this. Say I'm walking down the sidewalk with my Green Lantern shirt on. Most people didn't even know who that Green Lantern is. Then you would get that one person on the sidewalk would just give you like the thumbs up.
Right,
and keep
right.
Now everyone wants to wear Green Lantern, Spider-Man, this, that. You
Captain
understand?
America.
So it's like you got a lot of posers.
Right.
Because before, it was like, I would literally make my trip to a comic book store to get my t-shirts because you couldn't find them anywhere.
Right.
Now
they're
you
in
can go
every store.
you can
Walmart.
go to a
Walmart,
deli.
yeah,
You can go
Target.
to a corner deli and get, superhero shirts and stuff.
Fantasy.
Can I still say that word, superhero? Superhero.
Say, get it out now. Get it out now.
Yeah, right?
The big game.
You understand what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, but now it's like the end thing
Right.
to run around with that.
It's a
that type of-
trend.
yeah, it's a trend. to
Yeah,
get that
almost
gear on.
I think every award show, at least 2 artists are dressing up or doing something or tweeting something in reference to superheroes and sci-fi. And I think it's only because they want to get a
They
job.
want to get work.
They want to get work.
Yeah.
Or like Rihanna with Battleship, for example.
What was that about?
That
That
what the hell was that? That was her one line. And with her, well, so here's the story that I hear about her, because even with some of her style choices and like album covers have looked very similar. Like there's one outfit that she wore on her album cover that looks like Canary from Hunter x Hunter. And supposedly she's not a geek, but apparently her stylist is. So
that, yeah.
a lot of her outfits
I love Canary.
are manifestations of her stylist's fandom,
Right.
as
Gotcha.
opposed
Well,
to
actually, most of the
hers.
female stars out there, they're not dressing themselves.
Right.
It's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Right.
This would be awesome. I saw this on the WB last night.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Right.
I want to bring it back to like the awards, like the Met Gala has been like really like science fiction-y. Like this
Yeah.
past year, they
Either
did,
that
like,
or like super kawaii, like even Rihanna's last get up where she
Yes.
looked like a giant flower.
but they have
bush.
like even their themes.
I mean, it was cute.
Like even the theme for like the Met Gala has been like really like techie or science
Right.
fiction-y. and,
Right.
like,
Riding the
yeah.
wave.
I mean, it's the future age. It's the information age. So it's like the future is now type of.
How long do you think it's gonna last? Because I think they're doing too many. I don't think we need. I mean, it would be great to see Han Solo. I'm really happy for Mr. Glover. Really happy that a lot of these people are like, obviously, Black Panther's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah.
Stoked.
I mean, it seems like things cycle, like you
but,
said.
Wait, but how long do you think it's going to last before people are just like, enough is enough?
I feel like the
'Cause-
question is like, what's the next trend?
Right. Because then it's like, it kind of goes like you said the other day, where it's like, oh, people are sci-fi and they're big into Star Wars right now. Then they get tired of Star Wars and Star Trek comes out. Then they get tired of sci-fi, so anime takes over. Then they get tired of that and comics takes over. Then they get tired of that
Or,
and
like,
like
gaming.
fantasy.
Yeah.
And fantasy can take up multiple forms, right? Because you can have wizards, or you can have like historical fantasy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like I'm really into the historical or prehistorical, like Jurassic Park was my movie. Like I love the Jurassic series. So I think that they kind of follow, but the good thing is the geek culture is so
Vast.
it really is. It really is that it's kind of hard to kill
hard
it.
to
It can take different forms and different shapes.
Yeah. And it has, even at its smallest fan base, that base is so passionate and so, into it that they'll support it.
Yeah.
It might shrink a little bit, but it's not going to completely go away.
Yeah.
What I was looking at today, or thinking about even walking over here, was if you look at like Dark Tower coming out, right? Even if that movie doesn't get huge box office numbers, it might do well, but I mean, in Hollywood numbers, you got it right.
Yeah. Like
That's
really-
going to have a huge cult following. Huge cult following. Same with Valerian. It might do modest numbers.
Oh, yeah.
But the cult following that comes from the effing movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge.
And to the point where the sequels will oftentimes, like, make way
To
more
exceed,
because
yeah.
people will buy the DVDs after the fact and then they get into it and then they're looking forward to the sequels.
Right.
It's true.
Just like Riddick and what else?
Fast
What was
and
the
Furious.
Fast Furious? Yep.
Going for years.
Yep. Shout out to Jazzy Ellis, who's in Fate of the
I
Furious.
did see it. I'm a Furious fan.
Yeah.
You know, I do.
And you guys, well, because of what is it? There are a lot more nerd / geek TV shows.
Uh-huh.
You're okay.
Do you have a favorite that's very pro nerd or pro geek?
Say that one more time.
Wait, TV.
What's
There are
your
a lot
favorite
of
pro
pro
nerd or
geek-
pro geek show?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pro
I have one,
do pro nerd and then pro geek.
pro
'Cause the two aren't
nerd
necessarily the
TV
same.
show is Silicon Valley.
Ah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Pro nerd, pro
Oh my
geek.
goodness.
I'm drawing a blank for pro geek.
I would actually have to go back because I really don't watch a lot of TV. I really don't. But the show, and you guys are like, you like that show? I don't even think it comes on anymore. I was a huge MythBusters fan.
Oh,
I like
no.
Mythbusters.
I think that is
Interesting.
over, but
Yeah,
that is good.
I love that show.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I mean, I like stuff like that. So
Yeah. As far as nerd shows,
that was like a straight nerd show. I would say.
yeah, it was.
There's also Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Big Bang.
And that's
I like,
pro nerd show
Yeah,
for sure.
I like Blackish. I like
Would that be considered a nerd?
I
show?
would consider because the mom is a doctor, the father is like he's in marketing, but it's definitely highlighting the like middle class and in particular upper middle class, the like that's the basically the talented 10 type
Right.
of thing. And also they have the little daughter who's a geek, and the son he's kind of like got his own little quirky ways.
And that's the thing. Almost every show has a geeky kid now.
Right.
And not even a nerdy kid, if you notice.
Right.
There's always a.
Well, she's both, I think, in the show, but more so a nerd. She's definitely a nerd.
All right. Well, we just did 2 episodes of. So you make up your own definition, I guess. of
Right.
What a nerd is a geek. Thank you, Ranger.
Yeah.
And Sensei Vegan. You got to put the grit in. Sensei Vegan.
Yeah, Sensei.
And CC. I'm 7. You're watching Eclecticka, and we'll see you next time.